You probably think that you're decent at Fortnite, but what if you're not? Most players don't realise how much little habits expose how bad they actually are. So before you call yourself cracked, watch closely, because these are 20 signs that you suck at Fortnite. Before I hurt your ego, don't freak out. I'll explain how you can be fixed, unless you die regularly to bots, because then there's no hope. Anyway, let's start with number 1. You drop into hotspots every game. If your first move in every match is dropping straight into a hotspot, we're talking the most chaotic POIs on the map, then you're setting yourself up to lose before the game even starts. Sure, you might pull off a crazy clip once in a while, but 9 times out of 10, you're just handing over free loot to the next guy. Smart players play the long game. They check the bus path, rotate to solid drop spots, and they land where they can grab mats, shields, and loadout before fighting. The goal isn't to get 5 kills off spawn, it's to win the game. Number 2, you don't adapt to the meta. If you're still using the same loadout and playstyle from 3 seasons ago, that's a problem. Fortnite changes constantly, weapons get vaulted, new items drop, and balance updates shift how fights play out. This season's meta is completely different. If you're ignoring new mobility items, not trying out the latest rifles, or refusing to learn how the Simpsons themed items work, then you're putting yourself at a disadvantage before the game even starts. Good players adjust fast, they test everything, figure out what's strong, and build their loadouts around it. Bad players complain about the changes and keep dying with the same setup. If you want to win more, stop clinging to what used to work and learn the current meta. Use it before it gets nerfed. Number 3, you build slowly or panic during fights. Building is still one of the biggest separators in Fortnite. If your first reaction in a fight is to hesitate and over-edit or panic and build a skyscraper that you can't control, that's a clear sign that you're not confident under pressure. Good players build with purpose, quick cover, smart angles, and clean retakes. They don't waste mats on random towers or build up just to sit still. If you freeze when someone pushes you, or place walls without thinking about positioning, then you're giving your opponent all the control. You don't need flashy builds, you need efficient ones. The faster you stop panicking, the faster you start winning. Number 4, you don't handle third parties well. Getting third partied is part of Fortnite. It happens in almost every fight, but how you react to it says a lot about your skill level. If you panic, tunnel vision on one opponent, or just hope the other 2 teams fight it out, then you're setting yourself up to lose. Good players expect third parties, and they position smart and disengage when needed. They use the chaos to their advantage. If you're always the player getting sandwiched or caught mid-reload, it's not bad luck, it's bad awareness. Pay attention to the sounds around you and keep track of the storm position, and never assume a fight is a 1v1. Number 5, you fight from the storm too often. If you keep finding yourself fighting in the storm, you're making one of the most common and costly mistakes in Fortnite. You might think that you can win the fight or rotate out after, but the storm isn't just damage over time, it's pressure. It forces bad decisions, burns through your heals, and makes every mistake twice as punishing. Strong players plan their rotations early, and they move before the zone closes. Use launch pads or vehicles when needed, and never take fights that you don't have time to finish. If you're always getting caught in storm battles, it's not about your aim or mechanics, it's your timing. Start rotating 30 seconds earlier than you think you need to, and you'll survive way more endgames. Number 6, you don't prioritize heals or shield. If you're entering fights without full shield or any healing items, you're already at a major disadvantage. A lot of players focus on weapons and materials, but completely ignore their health. It doesn't matter how cracked your aim is, if the other player has more health, they'll win almost every time. Good players treat healing as part of their loadout strategy. They make space for minis, medkits, or splashes, even if it means dropping a weapon they like. They know every fight is easier when you start it topped off. If you constantly die with an unused heal sitting on the ground behind you, or rush into fights half shielded, that's not bad luck, that's bad preparation. Number 7, you lose 1v1 build fights even when you have the advantage. If you're getting high ground in a 1v1 but still losing the fight, you're not controlling the engagement, you're just wasting mats. Having height means nothing if you can't pressure correctly. Many players build fast but shoot slow, or they over-edit and give up their advantage trying to finish the fight too quickly. Strong players use the height intelligently. They track movement, stay patient, and wait for the right moment to take the shot or drop in safely. They don't throw away the position just to chase a single tag. Number 8, you rely on rarity instead of fundamentals. If you think grabbing a golden weapon automatically makes you dangerous, you've missed the point of Fortnite. High rarity weapons help, but they don't replace positioning, aim, or timing. A player with better awareness and movement will beat you with a green gun if you don't know how to control the fight. Bad players chase rarity. They spend half the match looting instead of learning angles and practicing edits. Good players focus on consistency. They make any loadout work because their fundamentals are solid. If you keep blaming your losses on not having a mythic or legendary item, it's not the loot that needs upgrading, it's your decision making. Number 9, you don't use mobility or escape options when you should. If your first instinct in a losing fight is to keep shooting instead of resetting, that's why you keep ending back in the lobby. Mobility items exist for a reason, to reposition, escape, or reset in a bad situation. Whether it's a launchpad, a grappler, or this season's Simpson-themed mobility tools, good players always have an exit plan. Bad players stay stuck in doomed fights and they hope for a lucky shot instead of recognizing when it's time to disengage. Surviving a fight you can't win is what separates smart gameplay from ego-driven losses. Number 10, you're not subscribed to Green Ninja Gold. Now this one is extremely important. Jokes aside, if you're seeing yourself in a few of these signs, hit that like button and subscribe, because it does a lot for me and the channel. Moving on to number 11, you don't learn from your deaths. If you leave every match without understanding why you died, you're guaranteeing the same result next time. A lot of players blame lag, RNG, or the other player's loadout, anything except their own decision. But improvement only happens when you actually study your mistakes. Good players review what went wrong. Did they overpeak, rotate too late, miss audio cues? Every death becomes information they can use to avoid repeating it. If you just queue up again without thinking, you're not practicing, you're just repeating failure. Watch your replays, notice patterns, and fix one thing each game. Number 12, you play like a solo in team modes. If you're in squads or duos but still playing like it's a solo match, you're holding your team back. Fortnite isn't just about mechanics, it's about communication and coordination. Running off alone, ignoring pings, or taking 1v4 fights without backup doesn't make you a hero, it makes you a liability. Good players move as a unit. They share resources, sync rotations, and push together. They understand that one well-timed team play can win a fight faster than any individual skill ever could. If you keep dying while your teammates are halfway across the map, it's not bad luck, it's bad teamwork. Number 13, you let tilt control your decisions. If a single bad fight ruins your mindset and you start making poor decisions, that's called tilt, and it's one of the fastest ways to lose multiple games in a row. Tilt makes you overcommit, rush fights that you can't win, ignore rotations, and generally play worse than you would normally. It's not your aim or loadout failing, it's your mental state. Good players stay calm, reset after mistakes, and treat each fight as independent. Losing one engagement shouldn't dictate the rest of your match. If you find yourself raging or chasing revenge after every knock, it's time to take a step back, breathe, and refocus. Controlling tilt is just as important as controlling builds and weapons. Number 14, you ignore the sound cues. If you're constantly getting surprised by enemies, it's probably because you're ignoring sound cues. Footsteps, chest spawns, trap triggers, or even enemy building noises all give you critical information. Missing them puts you at a huge disadvantage. You're literally playing blind. Good players listen actively. They adjust their positioning based on what they hear, pre-aim corners, and react before opponents ever appear on their screen. Luckily, the visualized sound effects setting is perfect for this very reason. It allows all players to see the sounds around them, and it's overpowered, so everyone should be using it. Number 15, you forget to manage inventory slots efficiently. If you're fumbling between weapons, heals, and utility items mid-fight, you're losing more than just time, you're losing fights. Good players organize their inventory with intention. Each slot has a purpose, and every weapon or item is easy to access when the fight gets intense. Bad inventory management leads to wasted seconds, missed heals, and panic swaps under pressure, all of which can cost you the game. If you're constantly pressing the wrong button or running out of room for critical items, it's time to rethink your setup. Efficiency wins fights before skill even comes into play. Number 16, you overlook environmental advantages. If you're ignoring the terrain around you, you're missing one of the biggest tools in Fortnite. Natural cover, high ground, hills, and buildings can give you positional advantages in every fight. Not using them means you're constantly exposed and easy to hit. This is especially important in zero build. Good players access the environment before engaging. They rotate through advantageous spots, use walls and obstacles to break the line of sight, and force opponents into disadvantageous positions. If you keep fighting in the open areas or fail to use the map to your advantage, you're letting every opponent dictate the fight. Mastering your surroundings wins more games than raw aim alone. Number 17, you don't track materials properly. If you're constantly running out of wood, brick, or metal mid-fight, you're setting yourself up for failure. Good players keep a close eye on their material counts and farm wherever is safe. Every build, edit, and push costs mats, and running empty leaves you exposed. Bad players either ignore farming or overcommit without considering what's left in their inventory. That means no walls, no ramps, and no way to defend themselves when it matters the most. If you want to survive fights and control the pace of the game, tracking and managing your materials is just as important as your aim. Number 18, you never use creative mode for practice. If you skip creative mode entirely, you're missing a huge opportunity to improve your skills outside of the live matches. Building, editing, aiming, and even learning map rotations can all be practiced in creative mode without the pressure of a real fight. Good players warm up, train edits, and test out new strategies before dropping into matches. This preparation makes the difference between reacting and overreacting under pressure. If you're just jumping into matches cold every time, you're putting yourself behind the players who take the time to practice. Number 19. You ignore seasonal events or map changes. If you're treating the map and items like nothing's changed since last season, you're falling behind. Fortnite constantly updates with new points of interest, hazards, and seasonal mechanics. Ignoring them means missing rotation shortcuts, loot advantages, and tactical opportunities. Good players adapt immediately. They learn where the action is, how new items work, and how to use seasonal features to their advantage. If you keep playing like it's an old season, you're giving every opponent an edge, and you'll struggle to compete at a high level. Number 20. You don't have fun while playing. If you're constantly obsessing over stats or taking every elimination personally, you're forgetting the most important part of Fortnite, having fun. Good players win because they're relaxed, engaged, and enjoying the game. Fun keeps your mind sharp, your reactions quick, and your motivation high. Remember, Fortnite's a game, and the more you enjoy it, the better you'll play. If you enjoyed this video, then I think you'll like the one on screen. Thanks for watching.